You are not hard to love. You are just remembering how to love yourself in the way that you've always needed, setting the tone for others to love you that way as well.
Welcome to the Healthy Love Healing Podcast, where we dive into topics pertaining to emotional intelligence, communication, and inner healing. We discuss how unlearning outdated programming can help you cultivate healthy connections in your life, because you are worthy of healthy love. You are worthy of healthy love.
Hey, lovers! Before I dive into this episode, I invite you to reflect upon this question. What was one act of healthy love that happened to you in the last week? In this episode, I am going to dive into the 4 pillars of the Healthy Love Healing Method. If you are joining me for the first time, welcome. I have been podcasting for almost 7 years. The previous name of this podcast was Abundance Hack, and honestly, a lot can change in 7 years. So I felt called to rebrand. Technically, this is the 6th season of Abundance Hack, and it would be episode 250 before the rebrand. But over the last 7 years, I've really been grounding into who I am, grounding into my purpose, and I wanted to rebrand to something that feels more aligned with that purpose now. Of course, I'm abundant. I ooze abundance. But Healthy Love Healing Method is my life's work, helping people cultivate healthy love in their lives, starting with self-love. So here we are. I'm super excited. I am so pumped about the topics that I have coming up on this podcast. So if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe so you don't miss it, because we all can use self-love. We all want to love and be loved. It's just unlearning the harmful programming that we've had in our society and replacing it with emotional intelligence, with compassion, with curiosity, so we can cultivate the healthy love that we all desire. So what is the Healthy Love Healing Method? The Healthy Love Healing Method is a roadmap back to yourself, your truth, and your divinity. It's about remembering who you are beneath the pain and the programming. The 4 pillars help people move from wounded love patterns like people-pleasing, codependency, emotional avoidance, to emotional intelligence, embodiment, and healthy connection. The Healthy Love Healing Method is not just about finding love, it's about becoming love. Lovers, I am so excited. You know when you just really ground into your purpose, like that feeling, it just feels so aligned. And obviously, if you've been listening to me for a while, it's been a journey to get to this point. And I launched the healing app, the Healthy Love Healing app, before the podcast, which probably should have been the other way around. But if you know me, you know I like to do things my own way. And sometimes the puzzle pieces, they don't always make sense when you just see that one piece. But then when it starts to form and come together, it just feels so aligned. I have like all the feels and chills going through my body. So it's that full body yes. And I love the feeling. I'm so excited to dive into this, dive into the topics I have prepared. And I really, really hope that this topic and the tools that I plan to provide with the Healthy Love Healing Method really helps people not only attract and cultivate healthy love, but truly learn to love themselves. And that's where it all starts. It's really hard to love someone else in a healthy way if we don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves. So let's dive in. The 4 pillars of the Healthy Love Healing Method. So pillar number 1 is self-connection, because healthy love starts with self-love. And it's really funny. I started posting these self-love journal prompts on TikTok. If you're not following me on TikTok, go give your girl a follow. I started posting these self-love TikToks and it is not taking off. I'm like, TikTok hates me. But one thing that I know, especially at my studio, when I talk about self-love, sometimes women will say, oh, I love myself. I love myself. Like, I don't need self-love. I love myself. But I think that there's a miscommunication. There's a surface level self-love. I love how I look. I love my lips, my booty. I love, how I dress. I love my style. I love my personality. But a lot of that is surface, right? Are we treating ourselves good? Is our self-talk positive? Are we making good decisions? Are we prioritizing our health? Are we listening to our needs and desires? What are bodies communicating to us? Are we setting boundaries? Are we allowing people to mistreat us? All of that is self-love, or the lack of self-love. So there's a deeper layer of self-love and self-acceptance, really doing that shadow work to accept all of your parts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. To me, that's self-love, when you can look at all of your negative, and I say negative because society always makes us feel like we have flaws and faults and our shadows, so to speak. But I do believe there are no bad parts. So I'm a huge advocate for IFS, which is internal family systems, parts work. And the creator of IFS, he has a book, No Bad Parts. And it's basically saying this part of you was developed probably as a defense mechanism or trauma adaptation, but it's not a bad part. It's just stuck in a bad role. And if we can unburden that part and put it in a role where it can thrive and understand why that part was created, then we work towards integration and embodiment and wholeness. And to me, that's true self-love, when you can look at all of your parts with acceptance and compassion and still love who you are. And I think that shadow work and shame work also helps, because if we're hiding parts of ourselves because we feel they make us unlovable, to me, we will always live for external validation as long as we're hiding parts of ourselves. So self-love is looking at all of our parts, even the dark, not so friendly parts, and having acceptance and even compassion for those parts. So self-connection is the first pillar. It's really hard to truly love someone else or allow someone to truly love us without being grounded in self-love. So in order to do that, we have to regulate our nervous system. We have to connect back to our body. We have to create safety in our body. We have to connect back to our intuition, our inner wisdom, our inner alarm. I've talked about that on the previous podcast. Our inner alarm, it's really important to listen to those signals that our body and intuition communicates to us, because that's our foundation. And connecting back to your body so you could even feel that full body yes. When you're connected to those sensations in your body, when you meet people, you can feel if they feel good to you or not, if they feel safe for you or not, if they trigger your nervous system, or if they comfort and soothe your nervous system. So that self-connection is so important, and that's why it is the foundational pillar of the Healthy Love Healing Method. The second pillar is emotional intelligence. I talk about emotional intelligence all the time, so I'm sure if you've been listening to me, it's no surprise that it's one of the 4 pillars of the Healthy Love Healing Method. We have to have self-awareness. We have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to practice the art of repair, because conflict and rupture does happen in connections. And just because conflict happens, it doesn't mean that it's not healthy. So no 2 people will always get along. You're going to get on each other's nerves. You're going to disappoint each other. You're going to make each other mad. But that is why healthy conflict resolution is important, in order to have healthy conflict resolution, we have to have emotional intelligence. We have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to be self-aware, to take accountability of our part. We have to be able to have the uncomfortable conversations in order to truly cultivate connection. Sweeping things under the rug is not healthy connection. Gaslighting, avoiding, blame shifting, minimizing, invalidating, that's not healthy love. So having awareness around these things, having the emotional intelligence, the emotional maturity to be able to lean into the conversations that actually deepen connection. So any conflict or rupture is actually an invitation to deepen the connection when you can approach it with curiosity and compassion, understand each other, and we don't have to agree. So part of emotional intelligence to me is understanding the yes and concept. Yes, this is your perspective and this is my perspective, and both are valid. There's no right or wrong in the situation. It's understanding each other's perspective, understanding each other's needs, understanding each other's desires, and the desired outcome. And the outcome should never be to prove someone wrong or to win an argument. If you're trying to prove someone wrong, you both lose. Period. You both lose. So understanding that the desired outcome should be connection, should be understanding, should be comfort, should be nurturing, should be validation. How can we validate someone's experience? How can we get curious about what they need? What part of them was triggered? What part of them was hurt? Do they feel rejected? Do they feel abandoned? And it takes a lot of emotional maturity and emotional intelligence to have these conversations and be able to catch yourself when you're feeling reactive and show up from a grounded, compassionate place. It takes a lot of work and self-awareness and emotional regulation. And the third pillar in the Healthy Love Healing method is embodiment and purpose. So as an embodiment coach, I'm sure there's no surprise that that is one of the pillars. It's so important that we not only learn the things, but also integrate them and then embody them. So going through the process of connecting back to ourselves and really working on our skill sets around emotional intelligence, we don't want to just learn these skills. We want to integrate them and embody them. We want to be grounded in our values, be grounded in our boundaries, respecting other people's boundaries, being impeccable with our words, operating from a place of integrity. And to me, when you live intentionally like that, like that's what embodiment is all about. And then I feel like you understand your purpose more and you have that courage to live that purpose. I do believe that purpose is part of the connections that we attract into our lives. And when we're really living in alignment with our purpose, that's going to shape the type of people we surround ourselves with. And that can be a hard thing sometimes. I think when you live intentionally, it's hard to be around people that are not doing their inner work. And so connections will not feel good, supportive, or nurturing. And we deserve nurturing, supportive, genuine connections. We've all heard the saying, our future is shaped by the 10 people we spend the most time with, knowing that the people that we're around, if it's toxic, if it's dysfunctional, if it feels ambivalent, that's not going to be easy to deal with if we're truly embodied, if we're operating from a place of embodiment, intention, and purpose. It'll be hard to be around those types of connections. So being self-loyal and choosing yourself, choosing your purpose and living intentionally will require you to be around people that are also doing their work. And I know it can be hard, especially if it's people that you love, family, friends that you want to hold on to, lovers that you want to hold on to. But if they're not doing their work and you're working on your embodiment, it's going to be really hard to maintain that connection. So this is an important pillar. I think as we grow, we want to be around people that are growing as well. It doesn't have to be at the same pace, but they have to be growing and living intentionally as well, or that connection is going to be really hard to maintain, unfortunately. Which brings me to pillar number 4 of the Healthy Love Healing Method, which is divine union. So you have integrated the work, you're embodied, you are on path to your purpose, you're stepping into your power, you're in your power, you're owning your power. And then you have other people in your life that are doing the same. They've integrated their work, they're embodied, they're living their purpose. That is what creates that divine union, and you all lift each other up. I just got chills. Like how beautiful is that for you to live intentionally, and then you have friends that are living intentionally, you have a partner that's living intentionally, and you are all just growing and expanding together. Does that not sound yummy? I'm like, sign me up, please. So whether it's romantic, whether it's a friendship, whether it's family, whether it's a business partner, I think divine union, we can look at it like just a romantic relationship or a marriage. But to me, sometimes you have business partners that were meant to create together. You have friends that were meant to do life together. You have family members. Like sometimes people, do life with their siblings or something like that. So the people that are meant to be in our lives when we are standing in our power, to me, that's what divine union represents. And it's not always just romantic. But in order for us to have those connections, we have to be doing our own work, and they have to be doing their own work, so we can truly bring out the best in each other. Because what happens if one person's doing their work and the other person isn't, a person's light can trigger a person's shadows. And that's where that ambivalence comes in, right? That's where resentment and jealousy and envy and the stuff that just kills connection, right? The connection killers. When two people are doing their work and they can lean into the uncomfortable conversations, they understand healthy conflict resolution, they understand the art of repair, that's when that divine union can really be cultivated and nurtured. And that's beautiful. And I think that in order for all of this to happen, the first step really is regulating our own nervous systems so we can connect back to our bodies and love ourselves, do the inner work to love ourselves. And if you are on step 1, that doesn't mean you're not worthy of love now, because the beauty in this is it is a process. It's a healing process. It's a growth process. And if two people can do it together, I think that's even more beautiful. You're walking the path together. I just read Liz Gilbert's last book. It's a deep one, but it's called All the Way to the River. So finding those people that walk all the way to the river with you. So walking the journey alongside you. And I think that's beautiful. So it's not about being healed and then finding love. It's about loving yourself and allowing others to love you and allowing yourself to love others along the way, becoming love. So that is the foundation of the Healthy Love Healing Method. Everything that I create from here, everything that's in the app, will all be supporting these 4 pillars. So I invite you to reflect upon what you need in your life. Do you find that you are in toxic patterns? Are you still stuck in people pleasing? Are you codependent? Do you still have that anxious attachment style? Do you feel like you're constantly getting your heart broken or constantly being rejected or abandoned? There usually is an emotional root cause to that. And one of the first things we can do is start to unpack it with inner child healing, healing our inner teenager, shadow work. And so this is the type of thing that I do with my clients at my wellness studio, and also the types of tools and exercises that are in the Healthy Love Healing app. So buckle up. It is going to be a bumpy ride, but I promise you, at the end, you will feel more grounded in who you truly are, what you truly desire, and you will start to develop that courage to go after that. Stop settling, stop allowing breadcrumbs, stop allowing people to dictate who you are or how you see yourself, because sometimes we can feel rejected or abandoned because of people's actions, and most of the time it's their own stuff and it's not about us. So learning how to differentiate and be grounded in who we are, grounded in our self-worth, regardless of who is or isn't in our lives, and truly stand in our power, and then join forces with other people that are standing in their power, and we expand and grow together, we thrive together. And to me, that's the goal. And what I understand is most people want that, but why don't we have it? It's because of outdated programming. The way we were taught to relate is based in fear, manipulation, and control. And we'll get into that in these podcast episodes coming up, why we don't have healthy love. When we think about marriage was based on control, women not having autonomy. And now that women are gaining their autonomy, even if they're trying to take it away, now that women are gaining autonomy, it's thrown dynamics off. And so we're in a calibration period where we're trying to figure things out. And so really grounding into these core principles of connecting to ourselves, developing the skill sets of emotional intelligence, and learning how to be with people, because we can isolate and do our healing work and think, I've healed this, but we don't know if the healing actually worked until we're in connection with someone, until someone is pushing that button, right? That trigger button. Until someone's actually pushing that button, we don't know if the tools that we learned actually work. So that's where integration comes in, and then that's where embodiment comes in, and then being able to stand in our purpose, stand in our power, and be seen for that, because people are afraid to stand in their power because they don't want to ruffle feathers. But that's self-abandonment and shrinking for the comfort of others. So being able to stand in your purpose and power and love another person, being able to stand in your purpose and power and be loved by another person. That is what we're talking about in the Healthy Love Healing podcast. That is the tools that are provided in the Healthy Love Healing app. And if you have interest in working with me one-on-one, you can definitely reach out to me, contact@niajae.com. That's NIAJAE.com. I am so excited about this podcast and everything coming up. I hope that you are too. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of the yummy episodes. Until next time, reminding you, don't shrink for the comfort of others, and you are worthy of healthy love.
Thank you for listening to the Healthy Love Healing podcast, where we are reminding you that you are worthy of healthy love. If this podcast resonates, go download the Healthy Love Healing app, available on Google Play and iOS, for more tools to cultivate self-love and healthy connections in your life.